All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm so glad that you guys could join us tonight. We have a very special speaker on our team call. For those of you that don't know me yet, I'm Jessica Potterton. I'm a National Marketing Director with the Juice Plus Company, and I get the pleasure of introducing a very good and dear friend who is just a rock star in our business. She's an amazing mentor to me, an amazing partner in crime, sideline buddy. I just adore her to death. She's a mom of these incredible, talented, I can't even tell you how talented her kids are. I don't know if she'll have time to brag at all, but they're amazing kids, and we just have such a great time together. She's an integrative nutrition health coach.
Yeah.
And a mom. She's got tons of experience helping people inspire healthy living and lead healthy lives. And I'm going to turn it over to her to help us set us straight in how to work smart and not so hard. So, Lety, if there's anything I've left out, I want you to fill in the blanks for me. But we're so glad to have you join us tonight.
It's all good. It's all good stuff. Let's just get right to it. Thank you. Thanks,
Awesome.
Jessica. Appreciate that. And I feel the same way. It's so nice to work with you and bounce ideas off each other. And our girls have grown to know each other every time we go to conference. So it's all good stuff.
Yes.
So I am going to talk to you guys a little bit about working smarter, not harder, being more productive and less busy. And I'm going to start by sharing my screen. And one thing that I find really interesting, or funny actually, is that I often am not so productive. I tend to sometimes be a little bit on the busier side, and I think that's what made me want to create this training, was for people. Let me just move this 1 second. I'm sorry, you guys. I want to, where is for people like me who are busy, and I'm like, I'm spinning my wheels and what's going on? Nothing's happening, right? So somebody give me a thumbs up if you see what I see, like my screen, you see it? Okay, perfect. So that's really why I wanted to create this training. And I call it busy versus productive, or working smarter, not harder, because let's start with this. It's a clock. We all have the same amount of time in a day. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're president of the United States or a stay-at-home mom or a teacher or a doctor, or it doesn't matter. We all have the same amount of time. How come some people are so much more productive and get so much done and some people don't? Well, a quick little funny thing is, after I saw Steve Ritz in Philadelphia, and I'm sure many of you saw him, I was chit-chatting with him and I said, you're so inspirational, everything that you would say to Steve Ritz. I said, but from a logistics perspective, how do you get it all done? Like, I need to know how one person can accomplish it all. And you know what his answer was to me? His wife. I'm like, oh, so I need to get myself a wife? All right, good. I can see that. But yeah, someone like him who's changing the world, what is he doing differently? And what I found was that people that are more, I don't know if successful is the right way, but more productive, have specific priorities, and they know exactly what it is they're working towards. So Jessica didn't mention that I used to be a school teacher. I was a 6th grade middle school teacher. So part of this training is going to be a little bit of you working. I make you do your homework, right? So the first thing I want to work with you guys is, what are your priorities? So on your piece of paper, draw a T-chart just like this. And on one side, write home, and one side, write JP business. And list 5 things that you feel that you need to focus on at home, and 5 things that you feel that you need to focus on your business. And I'll give you guys about 30, 40 seconds to do that. And it sounds like somebody's not muted out. If you want to just double check that you're muted, that way we have a clean recording. That would be great. Thank you. All right, so about 10 more seconds. Okay, so this is what my priorities look like, and maybe yours look something like this. At home, I have to cook and clean and food shop. I like to be present for my kids and do laundry. Anybody have something similar to that? Typical household kind of priorities, right? So for my Juice Plus business, my priorities are adding new customers, planning events, doing customer care, social media, and some team building. You guys agree with that pretty much, right? We're all on the same page? Okay, perfect. Keep this to the side. We will revisit this, okay? I promise we'll come back to it. So let me ask you another question. If I were to give you a whole bunch of rocks, if I were to give you big rocks and gravel and then sand, and I gave you a mason jar, what would the best way be to get it all to fit in the mason jar? Now, I know you guys are all muted out and this is a Zoom training, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give you the answers. That way you don't all have to unmute back and forth. So if I were to put in the sand and then the pebbles and then the rocks, it doesn't really fit, right? And I like to look at these rocks as priorities in my life. The big rocks being the important things, the medium rocks being, or the gravel being, things that I'd like to get to but are not super important, and then the sand being like, if I get to it someday, that closet will get cleaned out. If I don't, I don't, right? One of those. So if you put your rocks in by putting the big ones in first, then the little ones fill in all those gaps that are left. And then the sand comes in and fills in the remaining gaps. So think of rocks as your priorities. So we always like to say big rocks first. And that's something to be said for everything in life. Stop and think, what is my priority right now? Do I have to do 25 things, or is this one important thing really going to make me that much more successful? And usually that one thing we're afraid of doing is what we actually need to do, right? So let's go back to, oh, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead. So one of the sayings that I love is, if you have more than 3 priorities, you have none at all. And it's true, because I like to tell a story that my daughter loves to save everything. And she has this special shelf and she puts everything on her special shelf. And I said to her one day, that's great. But if everything that you put on your special shelf is special, then nothing's special anymore, right? Because everything's on there. So if you have more than 3 priorities, they can't be priorities. They're just lumped in with everything else. So keep that in mind as we revisit this list. Home and our business. I know you're not going to like me for this, but maybe eventually you will. Take your 5 things, the cooking, the cleaning, the food shop, the being with the kids, and laundry, and cut it down to 3. Get rid of 2 things on your home side and get rid of 2 things on your business side. What are your true priorities that things would totally fall apart if you did not do? So take a few seconds and just cross off the things you're going to get rid of. Okay, so for me, this is what I got rid of. I got rid of cleaning. Now, does that mean that my house is a disaster? Sometimes it is, I'm not gonna lie. But for the most part, it's not. I've hired someone to clean my house for me. And I know that when I was at the beginning of my business and I was like, I don't have any money. I can't afford $100 every 2 weeks. I can't do that. Well, guess what? The 6 hours that it takes me to clean my house, I can make more than $100. I truly can. If I'm really effective with my time and I'm working on reaching out to people, adding team, planning things, sharing Juice Plus with people, in 6 hours, I can make more than $100. So that's what I do now. My time is more valuable. So I hire someone to clean my house for me. Cooking, I will always do the cooking. That's a priority for me. Food, laundry, I don't do laundry hardly anymore. Does that mean we all wear dirty socks? No. My husband helps out a lot. He does a lot of the laundry. Now my kids are getting a little bit older. They put their own laundry away. I'm not going to say I don't do a little bit of it, but it's not this big daunting task like it used to be. Now, I'm getting close to giving up food shopping as well, because now there's so many delivery services. I have to work on that. So that's a good one. If you have delivery service in your neighborhood, just do it. It'll save you like 2 hours. It really does. Now, let's look at our business. Getting new customers, planning events, customer care, social media, and team building. All 5 of those things seem pretty important, don't they? So like, what am I going to get rid of, right? So what I got rid of was events. Does that mean that I don't plan events? Absolutely not. But what it means is I'm not an event planner. My job when I wake up in the morning is not to go plan events and make them all perfect and beautiful. That's not my job title. I do want to go out and get new customers though, for sure, right? The other thing I got rid of was Facebook posts. Again, does that mean I don't post on social media? I post all the time. But my job is not, I'm not a social media expert. Some of you may be, and good for you, but that's not my job. I'm not helping somebody run their business, and I'm not being hired to create social media. I'm being hired, or my job is to get new customers, take care of my old customers, and build a team. Those are my priorities. So when I create an event, I have to say, is this getting me a new customer, doing customer care or team building? Yes. But I'm not spending hours and hours on every little detail of every event. Does that make sense? So as long as I am consistent with those three priorities, I feel like I'm doing a good job. Okay. All right, let's see. So what we're going to talk about, I don't know if I'm blocking you guys here. I want you to learn some tools to stay true to your priorities. Whatever your priorities are, they could be similar to mine, they could be totally different. But pick your three priorities and let's figure out how we're going to stay absolutely true to them and not vary. Okay. So the first one is to learn to say no. So there's a whole bunch of quotes up here. Feel free to read them at your leisure. But they're all about saying no, because at the end of the day, if you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. We only have 24 hours in a day. So if somebody PTA, we call it PTA, you guys may call it PTO at school, says, oh, can you volunteer for this, and bake all these cupcakes and do this and do that? I can say yes to her because I want to be nice and I want to volunteer for my kid's school. But that same time that I'm putting into this, I'm saying no to something else that may be one of my priorities. So it's okay, pick and choose, but make sure, and this is the biggest one, in order to say yes to your priorities, you have to say no to something else. It may be volunteering. It may be, no, I'm not packing your lunch tomorrow. You could do it yourself. It may be, no, I'm sorry, I have to get off the phone. It's so nice to catch up and chit chat, but I have things to do. It could be a million different things. Figure out what you have to say no to so that you can say yes to what your dreams are and what your priorities are and what you want to do with your life. Don't be dragged. Don't let time and life drag you. You be in control of those priorities. All right. So number 2, multitasking. Just by a show of hands, how many of you multitask all the time? You're like, okay, I'm on the phone, I'm folding laundry, right? I'm pulling out a recipe. You do a million things. And I've always thought that that was the way to get more accomplished. I really always did think that. And I was trying to become a really good multitasker. Well, guess what? Your brain is not wired to multitask. When you are multitasking, what happens is the switching from task to task is actually negative. You're focused on one thing and now you're going to this. So they call it's a cognitive cost because you're not being able to complete one task and now you're jumping back and forth. So here's something that I found that works really, really well to eliminate multitasking, and it's called the Pomodoro technique. It's really simple. It's a timer, and a Pomodoro is tomato in Italian. There's a long story behind it. You can Google it. It's actually a real technique. I didn't make this up. But I don't use a timer like that. I literally use my phone, or I have a home Google. So I say, hey, Google, set timer for whatever, right? This is how it works. Decide on the task to be done. All right. So for example, today I have an event coming up. So my task for today was I'm going to invite as many people as I can. I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes inviting, and nothing else. And I mean nothing else unless my house goes on fire or my children's school call. That's a deal breaker, right? The kids' school call, that's my priority for a second. So decide on the task to be done and then set your timer. 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. Sometimes setting a timer for just 10 minutes will get you so much further and so much more done than you could ever imagine, okay? So this is so simple. Just work on it till the timer rings. That's it, right? And now here's the thing. You could be working on it and you're all focused, and then the phone all these alerts stop popping up, right? Facebook alert, an Instagram alert, someone texts you, a Facebook message, you think of something, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to remember to blah, blah, blah. Do you agree? Does that happen to everybody? Yeah, okay, me too. This is what you do. When you get an alert on your phone, swipe it away. Or better yet, put your phone upside down and put it on vibrator, put it in the other room. Just ignore it. And when you're working with your timer, put a little pad and paper and a pad and pen next to you so that if something pops into your head, you can jot it down and then come right back to what you're focusing on. So that when you're done, you don't have to remember it. It's already written down. Makes it nice and easy, okay? So we're swiping everything away, or we're writing down what we need to get it out of our brain, and then getting right back on task to what we were doing. So when the timer rings, take a few minutes of a break, go grab a drink, go to the bathroom, stretch, walk around. It's up to you. Some people may say, I have 2 hours to do Juice Plus today, and I'll break it into 4 30-minute increments. Some people only have 30 minutes. So it's up to you whether you need to take a short break or you're just moving on to something else, okay? And then just do it all again. That's it. So I see people taking pictures. There it is if you want to take a picture. Good. I'll smile and everything. Okay. So we have some kitties joining us, it sounds like. All right. So the next thing is to delegate. And I love this because here's the king. He's painting the lines on the road. And she's like, the queen's like, you really need to delegate some authority, right? And when I heard this, it said, are you an egotistical narcissist? And everybody would say, no, not me. I'm not an egotistical narcissist. If you're not delegating, that means you think you can do it better than anybody else. So then you're an egotistical narcissist. So delegate. Get rid of the things that you do not need to do. And there are a lot of things that you can delegate to team members, to spouses, to children, to hiring people, all over the place, right? So here's an example. I like to talk about a to not do list. What can you not? We make to-do lists all the time and they're this long, right? Let's focus on what am I not gonna do? I often don't make my breakfast anymore. I have a shake in the morning, my son makes it for me. As I'm running upstairs, brushing my teeth, getting dressed, he's making my shake for me. Saves me what, 4 minutes of my day? That's okay, but it's 4 minutes that I can focus on something else. Filling up water bottles. And I have children, you may or may not, so you can pick different things, right? I'm just giving you examples for me. Filling up those water bottles, take care of it. When you get home from school, rinse out your water bottle, refill it in the morning. It's another 3 minutes I saved myself. Now I'm almost at 7 or 8 minutes, right? Feeding the animals. Now from a team perspective, checking the declined credit cards. I used to check my whole team. Now I delegate to the team leaders. Everyone who's a sales coordinator above, they do it for their own team. And that helps. It saves a lot of my time. Creating flyers, right? I've taught everybody on my team about word swag, and I used to make flyers for everything. Oh, you're having a soup swap? Let me make you a flyer. You're doing this? Let me make you a flyer. No more. I've taught everybody how to make their own flyers. It's super easy. If I could do it, they could do it. I'm no better than they are, right? So try to delegate and get rid of as much as you can. Now, I don't know if you guys know Darren Hardy. Have you ever read? Okay, he has The Compound Effect. He has a lot of books, but I love The Compound Effect. And I don't know if you know, he has a website where you could sign up and he'll text you a short video every morning. So you start your day. Okay, everyone's nodding. Good. So one of the things he says is, if you want to be a high achiever, you have to give up activities others can do so that you can do what you're gifted to do, right? Focus on your gifts. Focus on your priorities. Don't worry about all those little things that other people can do. All right, I'm checking the time. All right, so the last thing is to make an action plan. And I have some handouts, some things here. I'm happy to email them to Jessica so she can pass them along. Feel free to take pictures, but I will send it to her so you have them. It's so important to be organized and have an action plan. Now, does that mean you need to be type A and your closets need to be organized? No, mine are not. I'm a little bit of a mess all over the place. But the one thing I always organize is, what am I gonna accomplish this week? What is my action plan? So there's a few ways that I like to do that. First, I break down my short-term goal, my medium-term goal, and long-term. Short-term is like within the week to 10 days, maybe like planning an event or something like that. Medium would be like by the end of the month. If someone's trying to go for a goal, hit a promotion, if I want a certain amount of customers. And a long-term event could be conference to conference. It could be 6 months. It could be 3-4 months. It's up to you what works for you. So then after you figure out, let's say my short-term goal is to have a salad in a jar party. What are my action steps to achieve it? Goals are awesome. They're fantastic. But if you don't have the action behind it, you're never going to achieve that goal. So the action step might be simply to, and this is very simple, create a Facebook event, create a flyer, make a list of the people I want to invite, set my timer and start inviting. That's it. Those could be my 4 action steps to get to that goal. Very basic, very simple, nothing. It's almost like you almost need to dumb it down and really make it as basic as you possibly can, but effective, right? Sometimes when we have these goals, we're overwhelmed. Like, I don't know what to do. And you just feel like it's a lot of pressure and you don't know where to begin. But when you write down those action steps very clearly, then it's obvious. Maybe a medium-term goal would be to hit, you have a team member that wants to hit VF by the end of the month, right? Okay, so what are your action steps? How about number 1, you figure out how many points they have and how many points they need. Super simple, but it's what you need to do. Number 2, have a conversation, set up a time to meet with them and figure out a plan. Number 3, set up an event for them. Number 4, so simple and basic, but to the point so that you can achieve those goals. So that's the one thing I like to do to keep me organized. And the second is I plan my week every, those were just examples, but we're running out of time. So I'm going to move on. The other thing I like to do is I plan my week either Sunday nights or Monday mornings, always. And I have a sheet that I created that I love. It's 2-sided. This is side 1, and I'll show you side 2 in a second. And up here, I have the short, medium, and long-term goal, what we just talked about, because I used that for a long time, and then I condensed it into an all-encompassing sheet. I write the events for the week or for the next 10 days or 2 weeks so that I know what I'm inviting people to, whether it's a call that Juice Plus is sponsoring, whether it's an event I'm doing, whether it's something of Facebook's, whatever it is. And again, I'm happy to give you guys these sheets if you want them. Customer care. I figure out who have I not touched base with in a while? Who am I reaching out to this week? Customer shipping this week. So I go through my customer genealogy. Who's going to ship that I need to make sure that I get in touch with? I don't know about you guys, but before I started doing this, all of a sudden I'd be like, oh my God, this person's shipping tomorrow. I haven't talked to him in 2 months and blah, blah, blah. Things would ship out and I was always missing it. So this keeps me organized. Then our team does something called Hot Hands List, which pretty much is who are the 10 people or more. I try to shoot for more than 10, but we have 10 on this list. Who am I reaching out to this week? And what's my action, right? So maybe I'm reaching out to Mary and I'm inviting her to an event, or I'm reaching out to Sally and I'm asking her to meet me for coffee, or Judy and whatever. Then in this box down here, I grade myself. I know it sounds crazy. There's the teacher in me, but I say like last week, I had 19 people on my hot hands list. Well, I connected with 17. So my grade is like 17 out of 19. Just, am I doing a good job? Am I reaching out to them? Am I connecting, or am I just putting them on my list and then never calling them? So that's what that little grade does for me. So this is side 1 of the sheet, and then here's the back of the sheet. And sometimes our weeks are unpredictable and they don't turn out to be the way we had planned or anticipated. So my theory is, if my week explodes and it's a mess, what are the top 5 things that if I can get done would still give me a productive week? So instead of having a big long to-do list, which sometimes you need a to-do list for sure, but the to-do list is not going to get me where I need to go. But making maybe 2 phone calls to key people or asking people on my dream team to join my team may be way more productive for my business than 20 other things that I can do. So this is the top things that I need to accomplish for the week. Here's a to-do list, a success list. And I know a lot of, if you've read The One Thing, did anybody read The One Thing? It's a good book. And they talk about a success list. Actually, Julie Herbst has a call on Wendy Campbell, and she kind of does a summary of that book. It's excellent. So listen to that. Julie Herbst's The One Thing. Scroll down. It's been many, many months, but So I am, if you're into affirmations, you know, maybe this week I am powerful, I am a business owner, I am organized, whatever works for you. Potential team members, so dream team people that I want to keep reminding myself to reach out to. Current team members that I need to connect with. Hey, I need to talk to so-and-so and see what date for the event. I have to talk to this person and see if they got a new team member or whatever. And then personal growth and training. I'm all about growing and becoming a better person, a better leader, a better teammate. So my personal growth may be reading a book, listening to a training, whatever that may look like for you. And I think it's so important to start and end our day in gratitude every day. It really makes you appreciate what you have, and it makes you, I just think it's a great way to really live your life, is in gratitude. So I'm always very cognizant about showing up. And even when things are like, especially when you're feeling negative or you're feeling like things aren't going your way, when you put a little gratitude out there, it's amazing what happens. So that's pretty much how I plan my week. And I found it to be extremely organized. For a non-organized person, I will be the first to tell you I'm not organized, but this really helps me, and it keeps me on track. So I just want to recap everything with you, and I'll wrap it up. Remember what your priorities are, and your big rocks go first, no more than 3, because then they're not priorities, right? Learn to say no. That is so important. And I have a friend that I love to see, and we spend a lot of time together, but it's not a Juice Plus thing. It's social, and I love it, but I've learned to have to say, well, I can't today, maybe tomorrow. But learn to say no and focus on what you need to do. Focus on one thing at a time. No more multitasking. Even though you think that's going to get you a lot done, it's going to get nothing done. So use that timer. Make a to not do list. What can you get rid of? Get it all off your plate. And I think one of the most important is make a clear action plan, but stick to it, because you can plan out that week, but if you don't stick to it, it was a waste of time. So make sure you make the action plan, you plan out your week, and you just do it every day, every single day, little bits every day. And I'm just going to close with that you can do anything you put your mind to, literally anything, but you can't do everything. So pick and choose what that is that you want to do, and then just go out there and do it and just crush it. You guys have all the capability and the enthusiasm and the skills and the resources to do that. So set aside what you want to do and go out and do it. And that's it.
Lety, that was amazing. I'm already getting my phone blowing up with requests for all these tools. So you have absolutely set this team's hair on fire. They're very excited, and these are incredibly useful tools. So at this moment, let me go ahead and pause the recording, and we'll open it up for questions.
Perfect. And I will stop sharing. There we go.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Now we can see your beautiful face to end. Thank you. You're amazing. Thank you so much.